Ladies and gentlemen, respected teachers, and dear friends, when we hear the word Shaolin, many of us immediately think of martial arts, discipline, and extraordinary strength. But behind these outward skills lies a simple truth. The Shaolin way of life is built on daily routines that cultivate balance, discipline, and inner peace. These routines are not only for monks in a temple, but they offer practical wisdom we can apply in our modern lives. The Shaolin daily routine is not just about fighting techniques. It is about harmony between body, mind, and spirit. It teaches us how to structure our day with discipline, live with intention, and strengthen both our character and our health. Let me share with you 8 key points that define the practical Shaolin daily routines. One of the most important and consistent practices in Shaolin daily routines is the discipline of waking up early. The monks rise before the sun, often around 4 or 5 a.m., embracing the quiet stillness of dawn. This is not just a matter of time management, but a profound spiritual practice that connects them with the natural rhythm of life. At this hour, the world is calm, there are fewer distractions, less noise, and the mind is naturally more receptive to clarity. Early rising symbolizes discipline. To wake up before most people requires strong willpower and self-control. It demonstrates mastery over comfort, as it is always easier to stay in bed, but the Shaolin tradition teaches that growth lies beyond ease. By rising early, monks remind themselves daily that discipline must come before desire. This sets the tone for the entire day. If one can conquer the bed in the morning, one can conquer many challenges that lie ahead. Once awake, the monks dedicate themselves to meditation. This practice is not rushed, nor is it merely a ritual. It is a foundation of their mental and spiritual training. In meditation, they sit in stillness, focusing on their breath, sometimes guided by chanting or silent concentration. The breath becomes an anchor, bringing awareness to the present moment. Through this, they learn to tame the restless mind, to let go of wandering thoughts, and to cultivate deep focus. The benefits of this morning meditation are vast. It sharpens mental clarity, allowing monks to approach their training and duties with alertness. It strengthens emotional balance, reducing the grip of anger, impatience, or anxiety that may arise throughout the day. Most importantly, it creates inner peace. In a world filled with constant noise and distractions, beginning the day in silence becomes a source of strength. Meditation also connects with the Shaolin philosophy of mindfulness. By observing the mind and the body first thing in the morning, monks practice self-awareness. They learn to recognize their inner state before engaging with the outer world. This awareness allows them to act with intention rather than reaction. For them, meditation is not escape, it is preparation. It equips them with clarity and calmness to face the physical intensity of training, the discipline of routines, and the unpredictability of life. Thus, early rising and meditation form the cornerstone of the Shaolin daily routine. It is the first act of self-mastery each day, a reminder that strength begins not with the body, but with the mind. After beginning the day with meditation, the next vital element in Shaolin daily routines is the practice of breathwork and qi gong. This is far more than physical exercise. It is an ancient system designed to cultivate inner energy, known as qi, which in Shaolin philosophy is considered the vital life force flowing through every living being. Qi Gong combines posture, controlled breathing, and gentle yet precise movements. At first glance, the practice may appear simple, even slow, but its depth lies in the harmony between body and mind. Each breath is intentional, each motion aligned with the rhythm of inhaling and exhaling. Through this union, monks develop a profound awareness of how energy circulates within them, enhancing vitality, balance, and resilience. Breathwork is at the heart of Qi Gong. The Shaolin monks understand that the quality of one's breath directly influences the quality of one's life. Shallow and rushed breathing leads to restlessness and tension, while deep, controlled breathing calms the nervous system, nourishes the body with oxygen, and clears the mind of clutter. In their morning sessions, they practice drawing in breath slowly through the nose, guiding it deep into the lower abdomen, and releasing it with equal calm. This method strengthens the diaphragm, improves lung capacity, and trains the practitioner to breathe with awareness throughout the day. The movements of Qi Gong are designed to open the body's energy channels, known as meridians, allowing Qi to flow without obstruction. Some exercises focus on stretching the spine, others on rotating the joints, and still others on shifting weight gracefully from one leg to another. The movements are deliberate and fluid, never forced. Over time, these practices not only increase flexibility and muscle tone, but also cultivate inner stillness and groundedness. It is this balance of effort and relaxation that makes Qi Gong unique. But Qi Gong is not merely about physical health. It is deeply tied to emotional and mental well-being. The controlled breath harmonizes the nervous system, reducing stress and stabilizing emotions. The slow, flowing postures train patience and concentration. For Shaolin monks, this is essential preparation for the more rigorous martial arts training that follows. Without the balance cultivated by Qi Gong, the intensity of Kung Fu could easily exhaust the body and overwhelm the mind. Qi Gong, therefore, acts as the bridge between stillness and movement, between meditation and action. Additionally, Qi Gong reinforces the Shaolin principle of harmony with nature. Monks often practice outdoors, aligning their movements with the rising sun, feeling the air, listening to the subtle sounds of the environment. This connection with the natural world deepens the sense of being part of something greater, reminding them that their energy is not separate from the energy of the universe. In essence, breathwork and Qi Gong are about nurturing life force, cultivating vitality, and maintaining balance. They serve as both a shield against illness and a wellspring of strength for the challenges ahead, enabling the practitioner to carry calm energy and focused awareness throughout the day. Following meditation and the gentle flow of Qi Gong, the Shaolin routine transitions into one of its most demanding and disciplined aspects: physical conditioning. To the monks, training the body is not simply about building muscles or achieving speed and power. It is about forging a body that can serve as a reliable vessel for the mind and spirit. A weak or neglected body becomes an obstacle, while a disciplined, resilient body becomes an ally on the path to mastery. Shaolin physical conditioning is rooted in the idea of gradual and consistent effort. It is not about pushing to exhaustion in a single session, but rather about creating strength and endurance over years of disciplined practice. The monks engage in a wide range of exercises designed to stretch every muscle, strengthen every joint, and awaken every fiber of the body. Their training includes push-ups, squats, planks, rope climbing, balance drills, and other bodyweight movements that develop agility, stamina, and resilience. Flexibility holds a central place in this conditioning. The monks dedicate long hours to stretching, splits, and dynamic movements that increase mobility and prevent injuries. Flexibility is not just for performance, it reflects the Shaolin philosophy of adaptability. A flexible body mirrors a flexible mind, able to bend under pressure without breaking. This is why Shaolin conditioning always blends strength with suppleness, hardness with softness, creating a balance that is both practical and philosophical. Endurance training is equally vital. Running, jumping, and repetitive drills are incorporated to build stamina. In Shaolin practice, the ability to endure is not merely physical but mental. The body learns to keep moving when fatigue sets in, while the mind learns to persist when comfort whispers to stop. Every bead of sweat is seen as a step toward resilience. For the monks, these exercises are less about competition with others and more about conquering their own limits, day by day. Shaolin conditioning also involves specialized drills that toughen the body for martial applications. Iron body training, for example, involves striking hard surfaces, repetitive impact exercises, and strengthening bones and muscles so the body can withstand force. While these practices may seem harsh, they are grounded in patience and progression. The monks never rush. Instead, they build durability over time, transforming their bodies into instruments of both defense and expression. Another important aspect is balance and coordination. Many exercises are designed to test equilibrium, standing on one leg, holding stances for extended periods, or performing movements that challenge stability. These practices not only improve martial skill, but also develop mental focus. To hold a difficult stance with unwavering attention teaches control over both body and mind. Through this conditioning, the body becomes strong, agile, and enduring, but more importantly, it becomes disciplined. Every repetition is an act of training the willpower, reminding the practitioner that progress comes through consistent effort. The Shaolin monks view physical conditioning not as a separate task, but as part of the greater journey of self-mastery, where strength, endurance, and flexibility unite to support spiritual growth. Perhaps the most recognized element of Shaolin daily life is their martial arts training, which has fascinated the world for centuries. Yet, for the monks, martial arts is not merely about combat or physical performance. It is a spiritual discipline, a moving meditation, and a way of cultivating inner harmony. When we hear of Shaolin Kung Fu, we may imagine high kicks, acrobatics, or powerful strikes, but at its essence, martial arts practice is a journey of self-mastery and balance. The training begins with the practice of forms known as talu. These forms are sequences of movements that combine offensive and defensive techniques, often inspired by the movements of animals such as the tiger, crane, or snake. Every posture is precise, every gesture deliberate. To an outsider, it may look like a dance, but to the monk, it is a dialogue between body, mind, and spirit. Each form requires deep concentration, rhythm, and control, which sharpen the practitioner's ability to remain present in the moment. Shaolin martial arts emphasize the union of strength and softness. The monks are taught that a strike should not come only from muscle, but from the coordinated flow of energy generated by the entire body, guided by the breath, and directed by the mind. This integration creates movements that are both graceful and powerful. Through years of repetition, the body learns efficiency, where no motion is wasted and every movement is purposeful. Beyond forms, martial arts training also develops reflexes and awareness through sparring and application. These sessions are not designed to foster aggression, but to cultivate calmness under pressure. The monks learn to read the opponent's intentions, to adapt with fluidity, and to maintain composure in the face of challenge. In this way, martial practice becomes an allegory for life itself, teaching that one must face obstacles with alertness, flexibility, and inner calm rather than fear or haste. Weapons training is another important part of Shaolin martial arts. From the staff to the sword, spear, or chain whip, each weapon is treated as an extension of the body and mind. Training with weapons teaches precision, control, and discipline. The staff, for instance, is often the first weapon taught because it develops coordination and balance, while also symbolizing humility, reminding the practitioner that even the simplest tool can become an instrument of mastery when guided by skill and discipline. Equally important is the meditative aspect of martial practice. Unlike modern sports or competitive fighting, Shaolin martial arts are infused with philosophy and mindfulness. Each movement is practiced not just for its external effect, but for its internal meaning. The monks learn patience as they repeat a single movement thousands of times, discipline as they endure the rigors of training, and humility as they recognize that mastery is a lifelong path. For the Shaolin monks, martial arts are not a means of violence, but of self-cultivation. The body is strengthened, the mind is sharpened, and the spirit is calmed. It is an art form where physical power merges with inner stillness, where combat becomes a vehicle for wisdom, and where practice itself becomes a meditation in motion. Among the Shaolin monks, even the act of eating is transformed into a practice of disciplined gratitude and awareness. Unlike in modern life, where meals are often rushed, distracted, or taken for granted, the Shaolin approach to food is rooted in mindfulness and simplicity. To them, nourishment is not just about filling the stomach, it is about cultivating health, clarity, and respect for life itself. Meals are often taken in silence. This silence is not an absence of sound, but an environment that allows each monk to fully connect with the food before them. Without chatter or distraction, they can appreciate the aroma, texture, and taste of each bite. Eating becomes a meditation, a way of training the mind to stay present in the simplest of actions. In this way, even an ordinary bowl of rice becomes a lesson in awareness. The food itself is usually simple, plant-based, and balanced. Heavy or overly spiced meals are avoided as they are believed to dull the clarity of mind and slow the body. Instead, Shaolin meals often consist of vegetables, rice, beans, tofu, and herbal soups. The diet is not about indulgence, but about nourishment, fueling the body to sustain the rigors of training while keeping the mind clear for meditation and study. Moderation is key. Monks eat enough to energize themselves, but never to excess, because overeating is seen as a form of attachment and imbalance. Gratitude is central to this practice. Before eating, monks often pause to reflect on the origins of their meal. The farmers who grew the crops, the earth that nourished them, the cooks who prepared the food. In doing so, they remind themselves that every bite is connected to countless efforts beyond their own. This cultivates humility and appreciation, transforming eating from a casual act into a moment of connection with the world. Another dimension of mindful eating in Shaolin life is the discipline of timing. Meals are usually taken at set hours, with little to no snacking in between. This teaches control over desire and strengthens the ability to resist impulses. In modern terms, this resembles intermittent fasting, which not only benefits physical health, but also reinforces mental restraint. By eating with intention rather than out of craving, the monks align their habits with their higher purpose of self-mastery. The physical benefits of such mindful eating are significant. A simple and balanced diet supports strength, flexibility, and stamina, qualities essential for martial arts training. The digestive system is kept light and unburdened, allowing the body to function at its peak. But the deeper benefit lies in the way this practice reinforces the Shaolin principle that every action, no matter how ordinary, can be a path to discipline, awareness, and harmony. Through mindful eating, the monks remind themselves that self-control does not stop at meditation or martial arts. It extends into every aspect of daily living, including the way they nourish their bodies. In eating consciously, they feed not just their physical form, but also their character, cultivating patience, gratitude, and inner balance with every meal. Beyond physical training and discipline of the body, the Shaolin monks dedicate a significant part of their daily routine to study and reflection. To them, wisdom and knowledge are just as essential as strength and agility, for without understanding, raw power becomes directionless. The mind, like the body, requires training, and this is achieved through continuous learning, contemplation, and self-examination. Study within Shaolin life is broad and meaningful. It often includes sacred texts such as Buddhist scriptures, philosophical writings, and the teachings of past masters. These works provide guidance on morality, compassion, and the nature of existence. Through study, the monks are reminded of values such as patience, humility, kindness, and detachment from ego. The texts are not approached as academic material to be memorized, but as living wisdom, meant to be applied in everyday choices and actions. Reflection is the counterpart to study. It is not enough to read words or listen to teachings. The monks take time to sit in stillness and consider how those lessons apply to their lives. For example, after reading a passage about compassion, a monk may reflect on whether he acted with kindness in his interactions that day. Reflection is a mirror in which one can see both strengths and shortcomings. It allows the individual to recognize where growth is needed, and this self-awareness is considered one of the greatest tools for transformation. In addition to religious and philosophical study, Shaolin monks also learn about health, anatomy, and the art of healing. Many are skilled in traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and herbal remedies. This knowledge is practical, ensuring that they can care for themselves and others when injuries or illnesses arise. Here again, we see the balance in Shaolin practice, the cultivation of both inner wisdom and practical skills that serve the community. Study also strengthens discipline in subtle ways. Sitting still with a text, focusing on its meaning, and resisting the temptation of distraction are all forms of training. Just as holding a stance for an extended time conditions the body, holding one's attention on a passage conditions the mind. This is why Shaolin monks value the written word, not as an intellectual pursuit, but as an exercise in mindfulness and focus. Reflection, meanwhile, deepens self-understanding. It teaches that true learning is not just about absorbing knowledge, but about transforming character. When monks reflect on their actions, they confront their weaknesses with honesty and humility. This practice fosters continuous improvement, reminding them that the path of Shaolin is not about perfection, but about persistent growth. Together, study and reflection create balance. One provides external wisdom, the other nurtures internal clarity. One fills the mind with knowledge, the other refines the heart with understanding. Through these practices, the monks ensure that their physical discipline is matched by mental depth and spiritual maturity, creating harmony between all aspects of their being. A vital yet often overlooked part of Shaolin daily routines is the practice of service and community work. While the outside world often associates Shaolin monks with their incredible martial skills and physical discipline, their life is equally rooted in humility, contribution, and responsibility toward others. The monks understand that strength and wisdom have no true value if they are used only for oneself. Real mastery is measured not in what one can achieve personally, but in what one can give back to others. Service in the Shaolin tradition begins within the temple itself. Each monk has duties that help sustain the daily life of the monastery. Some may cook meals, others clean the halls, sweep the grounds, repair buildings, or tend to the gardens. These tasks may seem ordinary, but they are carried out with full presence and dedication. The act of sweeping a floor is not treated as menial labor, but as another form of meditation, a way to cultivate mindfulness while also ensuring the temple remains a place of harmony and order. Through such responsibilities, monks learn humility. No one is above cleaning, cooking, or serving. These daily chores remind them that even the smallest actions contribute to the greater whole. Just as martial training teaches discipline of the body, service teaches discipline of the heart, reminding them that ego must bow before duty and that selflessness is a higher form of strength. Community work extends beyond the temple walls. Historically, Shaolin monks have played important roles in their local communities, offering medical aid, teaching martial arts, or sharing wisdom through guidance and philosophy. Their training in traditional medicine allows them to treat illnesses and injuries, offering care to those who might not otherwise have access to healing. In this way, their skills become tools of compassion, not just of self-protection. Teaching is another form of service. Many monks dedicate themselves to passing down knowledge to the next generation, whether within the temple to younger disciples or to lay people outside who come seeking guidance. For them, teaching is not only about instruction in martial techniques, but also about transmitting values, discipline, respect, patience, and mindfulness. Every lesson given is an act of service, planting seeds of wisdom in others that may one day grow into strong roots of character. Service also reflects the Buddhist principles at the heart of Shaolin life, particularly the value of compassion. By serving others, monks remind themselves that life is interconnected, that their well-being is tied to the well-being of those around them. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, are seen as essential to maintaining harmony both within the temple and in the wider world. In many ways, the community work is the grounding force of Shaolin practice. Martial skill and spiritual insight might elevate a monk personally, but it is through service that these qualities are tested and proven. It is easy to cultivate discipline in solitude, but it is in serving others that true character is revealed. For the monks, service is not an interruption of their path. It is the path itself woven seamlessly into the rhythm of daily life. As the day comes to a close, the Shaolin monks transition from the intensity of training, work, and study into the calmness of evening contemplation and rest. Just as the dawn begins with meditation, the evening concludes with reflection, silence, and restoration. This rhythm is intentional. It mirrors the natural cycles of the universe, where activity rises with the sun and stillness returns with the moon. Evening contemplation often involves seated meditation or chanting. The monks gather together or sit individually in silence, turning their focus inward. This practice allows them to release the energy of the day, to let go of lingering thoughts, and to return the mind to a state of balance. In this stillness, they observe their own emotions, reflect on their actions, and examine how well they lived according to their principles of discipline, mindfulness, and compassion. It is not a time of judgment, but of awareness, an opportunity to recognize both progress and areas for growth. Some monks also use this time to recite sutras or engage in chanting. The rhythmic sounds calm the body and mind, creating a sense of unity among those present. Chanting serves both as a devotional act and as a method of concentration, guiding the practitioners into a deeper state of focus. For them, these sacred sounds are more than ritual. They are vibrations that align their inner state with peace and harmony. Rest is considered just as important as training. Shaolin philosophy emphasizes balance in all things, and rest is the balance to exertion. After hours of physical conditioning and martial practice, the body must be given time to recover. Monks retire early, usually after sunset, allowing their bodies to restore strength and their minds to process the day's experiences. This discipline of early rest not only ensures physical recovery, but also aligns their lifestyle with natural rhythms, rising with the dawn and sleeping with the night. The quality of rest is enhanced by the simplicity of their lifestyle. Their sleeping quarters are modest, free from unnecessary luxuries or distractions. This simplicity encourages humility and keeps the focus on essentials rather than indulgence. By ending the day with reflection instead of overstimulation, the monks ensure that their sleep is deep, restorative, and undisturbed. Evening contemplation is more than a ritual. It is a bridge between the day that has passed and the day that is to come. It ties together the physical, mental, and spiritual practices of the day, reminding the monks that every moment, whether active or restful, is part of their path of self-mastery. By closing the day with awareness and peace, they prepare themselves to rise again with clarity, discipline, and renewed energy. Ladies and gentlemen, the daily routines of the Shaolin monks are far more than habits. They are a way of life, a path to balance, discipline, and harmony. From rising early in meditation to breathing with awareness, conditioning the body, practicing martial arts, eating mindfully, studying with reflection, serving the community, and ending the day with contemplation and rest. Each step is designed with purpose. What we see is not a rigid schedule, but a living philosophy where every action, no matter how simple, becomes an opportunity for growth. The Shaolin monks remind us that mastery does not come from occasional effort, but from consistent practice. They teach us that strength is not only physical, but also mental and spiritual. And most importantly, they show us that a disciplined life, lived with intention, can lead to true freedom, clarity, and peace. If we carry even a fragment of their wisdom into our own lives, whether it is waking earlier, eating with gratitude, serving others, or ending the day with reflection, we too can build a daily routine that shapes us into stronger, calmer, and more compassionate individuals. Thank you